गिलफर्ड से चंद मील के फासले पर एक और शहर फार्नहम है और उससे 3 मील के फासले पर ऐन उस जगह पर जहां मैं इशारा कर रहा हूं टिलफर्ड के नाम से एक छोटा सा गांव है। और इस वक्त जहां पर मैं ये खड़ा हूं ये जगह टिलफर्ड के बिल्कुल करीब है। टिलफर्ड के पास से गुजरने वाली मेन सड़क के किनारे इस वक्त मैं खड़ा हूं और मेरे करीब यहाँ पर आपको टिलफर्ड का वो निशान नज़र आता है जो इस बात की अलामत है कि यहाँ से टिलफर्ड का गांव शुरू है और इसी टिलफर्ड में अल्लाह ताला के फल से इस्लामाबाद का मरकज़ कायम है।
It is said that home is not a place but a state of mind, where we find communion and unconditional love. When we cross its threshold, we feel peace and happiness.
اس ارمغان زیست کا ارما تم ہی تو ہو اہل وفا کے پیار کا ساما تم ہی تو ہو.
Whether we spend just a few minutes on the holy grounds of Islamabad or are among the fortunate who are daily visitors, the physical abode of our Khalifa is nothing short of home for us all, where we enter a state of complete peace and comfort.
آقا سبھی کے درد کا درما تم ہی تو ہو. آقا سبھی کے درد کا درما تم ہی تو ہو. تم ہو ہمارے دل برو دلدار زندہ باد. اے قدسیوں کے قافلہ سالار زندہ باد. اے قدسیوں کے قافلہ سالار زندہ باد.
3 years have passed since Huzur made the journey from Fazl Mosque to Islamabad. We spoke to some fortunate members who are blessed to be serving in close proximity to Huzur Aqdas, may Allah be his helper. They tell us about how Islamabad has developed since it became the home of Khilafat.
اس تبدیلی کے نتیجہ میں جیسا کہ حضور انور طلب نصر عزیز نے بھی اپنے خطبہ جمعہ میں جب حضور نے اسلام آباد کا افتتاح فرمایا تھا تو حضور نے فرمایا تھا کہ انشاءاللہ العزیز اس نئے مرکز سے بڑے وسیع پیمانہ پر اسلام کا پیغام دنیا میں پھیلے گا. اشاعت اسلام ہوگی اور پہلے سے بہت بڑھ کر اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل سے ایک تو پیغام بھی پھیلے گا اور اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل سے بڑی کامیابیاں بھی نصیب ہوں گی.
And I think it really dawned upon me when Huzur led that Friday sermon when he inaugurated Masjid Mubarak, and before that, he did the Sajda Shukr. And that Sajda Shukr was that moment of realization for me personally was, this is a huge deal, where Khilafat has moved, and we've just established a brand new markaz, a brand new center.
Jamaat workers that once worked in small converted offices opposite Fazl Mosque have been relocated to larger open workspaces with complete amenities ranging from offices to conference rooms. For many members of the Jamaat, it was inconceivable that their beloved would migrate and they would not follow. Whereas once, the area around Islamabad consisted of 2 halqas and around 300 Ahmadis, there are now over 2,000 Ahmadis living within a 4 to 5 mile radius of Islamabad and an ever-increasing amount of halqas. But then COVID hit, and the hopes of daily prayers behind Huzur for newly relocated locals were quickly dashed.
It was very sad occasion as well because Huzur Aqdas moved here, and it was I remember in the beginning that it was the time of celebration and festivity, but all of a sudden we were hit by this COVID, and we have to put restrictions, and people couldn't come to Islamabad, and we were all sad, but it was, there was a lot of measures that was taken at that time. Huzur Anwar Aziz wanted to protect people, I would say.
Even as the gates of Islamabad closed to the outside world, there was no stopping the divine work being carried out on a daily basis in this hamlet, located within the heart of the countryside.
جہاں دفاتر میں وسعت ہوئی ہے اسی لحاظ سے کام کی وسعت بھی ہوئی ہے. اور بلکہ یہ کہا جائے اگر کہ جو کرونا کا پیریڈ آیا ہے اس میں تو بات جو دوسری اگر دنیوی لحاظ سے دیکھیں تو بہت زیادہ کام میں ان میں کمی آئی ہے. काम बंद हो गए, कईयों के जो बड़े बड़े प्लानिंग मंसूबे थे वो ख़त्म हो गए, बड़ी बड़ी फैक्ट्रियाँ थीं, कारोबार थे वो बंद हो गए। लेकिन हमारा जो रूहानी निज़ाम है इसमें अल्लाह ताला के फजल से इस कोरोना के पीरियड में हम कई गुना ज़्यादा काम बढ़ा है। हैरान होते हैं लोग देख के भी कि कोरोना के पीरियड में हर जगह काम में कमी आई है, लेकिन हमारे यहाँ इस्लामी मरकज़ से सैकड़ों गुना कोरोना के पीरियड में काम बढ़ गया है। पहले अफ्रीका के ममालिक से हमारी जो डाक आती थी, आम बुलेटिन की रिपोर्टें और बाद दूसरी चीज़ें बाई मेल आती थी, तो हफ्ता 2 हफ्ते बाद वहाँ लग जाते थे मेल के अंदर। अब वो रोज़ाना ईमेल पे आ रही हैं, वो सुबह हम 400-500 ईमेल निकालते हैं, शाम को फिर 200-250 ईमेल निकालते हैं। वो इस कदर तेज़ी से काम बढ़ गया है कि उसी हिसाब से फिर उनको सारा डील करना पड़ता है, जवाब देने पड़ते हैं। तो हमारा काम ख़ुसूसन इस कोरोना के पीरियड में 8-10 गुना ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है। तो ये जमात की तरक्की की तरफ निशानदेही है कि किस तेज़ी से काम बढ़ा है, उसी तेज़ी से ज़्यादा तरक्की भी हो रही है।
Islamabad too continues to flourish with restrictions easing, new developments and a slow return of visitors eager to pray behind their Khalifa and find the ultimate peace of their spiritual home.
As far as the mosque is concerned, as you know, we have capacity in the mosque and in the hall as well, but still we have to manage it because there are a lot of people now living close to the mosque and they would like to come to the mosque. Earlier we were running a rota system for namaz, but now we have opened up a little bit for the local jamaats, but whosoever comes to mosque we let them in because we use Iwan Masur for the overflow. As you know, it's Friday today and many people are here at the moment, and it's 1.5 hours left in Jummah prayer, but still people want to come, want to get inside the mosque and offer prayer inside the mosque. That is why they are coming a bit early. They are from the local areas and some came from the distance areas as well. Still we have a rota for Jummah prayer, especially if people would like to coming from the outside foreign countries, and they will be getting chance first to get inside because they are here for the limited time.
So on one occasion, Hazur was out inspecting Islamabad, as he usually does. We were outside of this Mulaqat waiting room, so the Usman Chow block, and there used to be an old tea store here from the old Jalsas, and they were renovating it. And Hazur pointed towards it, he said, well, why doesn't Khudam al-Ahmadiyya under Sanat al-Tijarat open a tuck shop? And I was like, Hazur, I really wanted to present this idea. He's like, yeah, you'll say that now. Now that once I've said it, you're always going to say that you wanted to present this idea. I was like, gee, Hazur, we really want to do this. So we proposed the plan and Hazur graciously accepted it. And, now it's such an essential part of Islamabad. And Hazur has, himself taken such a keen interest. And every time in the recent past, Hazur's come outside to inspect Islamabad, he's made a special. He's graciously gone in and inspected the tuck shop as well. So, really fortunate in that regard as well.
There are a few other projects which are going on at the moment. For example, the horse arena, which has been developed into more presentable as compared to what we have at the moment. This is the residential part and what we call is phase 2 of the development. And within that phase, we have developed into a park which is used by the children. This is an addition to what we have before in Islamabad.
One of the major installations in Islamabad that has become a familiar sight to Ahmadis the world over is the MTA studio.
So as we come through here, this is the main studio for Islamabad. And most of you have probably seen this on This Week with Hazur. And beloved Hazur sits right there and watches all the countries on this screen over here with that camera above there, which is remotely controlled. And this is just a blessing in itself, where Jamaats from around the world have been able to meet Hazur virtually, which has never been done before. By the grace of Allah, through MTA, this is something which we've been able to achieve, and with guidance from Hazur.
एक ऐसा निज़ाम है कि आप हैरान होंगे कि क्योंकि हमें अल्लाह ताला तौफीक अता फरमाता रहे, हम हुजूर के साथ दौराजात पे हमें जाने का मौका मिलता है। ये सारी मीटिंग हुजूर दौरों में किया करते थे। नेशनल मसी आमला थी, तीनों ज़ेली तंजीमें थी, वाक़फ़ात नौ के साथ बच्चों के साथ मीटिंग थी, नौजवानों के साथ थी, अतफाल खुदाम के साथ थी, इस तरह जो फिर यूनिवर्सिटी के तलबा स्टूडेंट तालबात हैं उनके साथ होती थी, ये सारी दौरों में होती थी। एक इतना दीमुशान काम है, कहाँ न्यूजीलैंड दुनिया का किनारा और कहाँ मॉरिशस दुनिया का किनारा, वहाँ की मीटिंग हजूर के साथ यहाँ पे हो रही है। हजूर उनको नसाए फरमा रहे हैं, सवालों के जवाब दे रहे हैं, नेशनल आमला के मेम्बरान को एक एक मेंबर से उसकी कारकर्दगी पूछ कर उसकी रहनुमाई फरमा रहे हैं कि तुम्हारे शोबे में ये कमी है, ऐसे काम करो, ऐसे करो, ऐसे करो। आगे से फिर उन जमातों की प्लानिंग आ जाती है कि हजूर हमने मीटिंग में हदायतें दी हैं, हमने ये काम कर दिए हैं, आइंदा कर ये प्लानिंग कर दी है। अब जो काम दौरों में होता था वो सारा इस मरकज़ में बैठ कर बआने ही वही काम हो रहा है।
The studio design obviously is something that a lot of people will resemble with Masjid Mubarak, and Zul's graciously guided us throughout the whole process of designing the studio and technically all the infrastructure which has been put in. So now you've seen the studio, let's go behind the scenes to see how all of this is actually controlled. So just through into this room over here, we have the production control room, and this is the brains of the whole operation of how all the pictures are making it to your screens at home. And over here we have what you can see, one of the most advanced control rooms that MTA has in the world. And by the grace of Allah, MTA has some equipment which is able to produce 4K videos, HDR footage. We've got the latest technology you can see over here, which really puts MTA amongst the top broadcasters around the world. So from here, not only do we do the virtual mulaqats, which you just saw next door, but this is also the main control room where Jummah is produced and directed from and technically made. Although you see fancy machinery here and screens, there's actually kilometers of cable underground in Islamabad and a whole load of machinery and apps rooms which is all running in the background in order to make all of this possible and in order for you to see the Jummah live at home every Friday.
As is the case wherever the Jamaat establishes itself, it becomes a hub for the community it serves. For Ahmadi and non-Ahmadi alike, Islamabad is no exception, welcoming local schools and community members to visit and use its facilities.
We have a multi-purpose hall which could be used as a sports hall as well as examinations and etc. for the community, and the local community is welcome to apply and reserve those facilities from us.
Since Hazur Ekdas moved here, a lot of people came to know about Jamaat because our presence is increasing day by day, and people are, local schools, local councils, and all these people are aware of now Ahmadiyya Muslim community very well.
Similarly, the main field behind you is used for football matches. The car parking is shared with the school, and all the other facilities we have on site that will be shared. Similarly, we are taking part in the flower exhibition and basket exhibition competition, and 19th of July is the local council who will be coming in, taking some photographs, and then they will judge out whether we are achieved any position in their competition or not.
However many flowers bloom around Islamabad, its beauty will always be defined by its occupant, by Khilafat, by our beloved, whose every word is a source of guidance and comfort for us.
There's been so many occasions where Khudam and the members of the Jamaat, they've come to the gate and because there have been certain restrictions because of the pandemic, they weren't able to come inside. But they knew this from before, but they've driven, for hours. And they literally said that we're going through something very difficult, we're going through a trial, and we have this letter that we want to just physically hand into Hazur. And even though they couldn't come into the office themselves, they would hand it into the gate. But that closeness, just knowing that your beloved is there and Hazur is there, I think that was enough for them to kind of give them peace and comfort and tranquility. Well, that's what Khilafat is, right? That changes a state of fear into peace. And they drove down for hours just to hand this piece, their letter, their entire world, and they were giving it to us. It was a trust upon us, and we delivered it. Another faith-inspiring account that I remember it was either Maghrib or Isha namaz. Huzur was coming out, he was going into masjid. He called me over and he said that you have a khadim on post, this particular post here, and he said he's not wearing a coat and it's quite cold, so make sure he has a coat and make sure he's warm. So I remember after namaz I straight went over and I spoke to the khadim. I was like, are you right? Huzur was inquiring about you, make sure you're wearing a coat. These are the small things that Huzur takes care of. Another time, again related to this area, was a khadim was on duty. About 10-15 minutes later, he got a knock on the post, and it was one of the Amla Hifazat personnel, and they had a salan. He had aloo matar, so peas and potatoes. It was salan, and they said this come from inside. Huzur saw you, and he sent this for you. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I've also been reprimanded for this. I remember on one occasion Huzur said to me that one of your posts was empty, because I was noting from my home that this post was empty. So make sure that you cover those posts correctly and all the time. So where there's so much affection and love as well, but there's also the sense of responsibility from Huzur as well, that look, don't take these things for granted. You've been given this responsibility and this honor, then make sure you serve it properly. So pre-pandemic, we had this great honor of serving at Huzur's entrance as well, khuddam. So there'll be 2 khuddam outside and 2 khuddam inside as well. And often or not, when Huzur returned, we will offer the shoehorn to Huzur. A huge honor for us. On so many occasions, Huzur has spoken to the khadim. I remember one particular instance, Huzur was like, "Okay, where are you from?" He's like, "I'm from Yorkshire." He's like, "Cha." And he knew the family as well. He's like, "You're from that family." So even though those were a few seconds of interaction, but they changed people's lives, they changed khuddam's life. Khuddam will come from across the country to duty, where they knew that there has a possibility of that interaction with Huzur. Not even if there's no opportunity, they knew that they were coming for a particular purpose. And I think this was a great honor for the Majlis and a great tool for tarbiyat of our khuddam.
Just as we cultivate our own homes, Huzur meticulously guides every detail of the development of Islamabad.
So over the last 3 years, Islamabad has developed immensely as well. Of course, the buildings were always there 3 years ago when Huzur moved, but the landscaping, the attention to detail, it's just amazing, and every single thing has been led by Huzur. Even as a bystander, I see Huzur call over the architects, the engineers, and give them instructions. And it's like when he's speaking, he has so much knowledge, in-depth knowledge of that particular field. And I'm just looking at it. The one particular example I remember was when they were resurfacing the field outside. And Huzur, of course, being an agriculturist, he knew every single detail about every single machine that they were using. Even the people that were doing the actual thing, they were like, Huzur, we're unsure. And I remember Huzur was like, they probably use this, this is how they do it, this is how they churn everything out. And I was just in awe, as always, with Khalifa Waqt's presence and listening to Huzur like this. And that's how Islamabad is. Every small detail, from the plants to the bigger structures, right, is Huzur's vision. And 3 years on, people thought, Islamabad's quite far from London. How would Markaz manage, or how will people come? But actually, I just realized that even during these restricted times, so many people come. Like literally in our inbox every day, we get a message from Private Secretary Office of Tabshir that such and such guest is coming, arrange for their accommodation. And without even exaggerating, I think there are hundreds of guests that come on a daily basis from not the UK, from outside. And if you go through the mulaqat list, right, there's hardly any UK name in there. It's all Germany, Canada, America, or any other country. And I think that's what Markaz is, where Hazrat Masih alayhi Islam was, Allah Ta'ala revealed to him, Ya'tika min kulli fajrin amiq, that people will come to you from across everywhere, right, in groves. And we see that fulfillment of that prophecy, as well as wasa makanak, enlarge your home. And with Khilafat, there's never a standing point, a stagnant point. Like there's always improvements being made, whether that's systems or whether it's structure or just general upkeep of this place. And that's only Khilafat has that vision to do that.
Huzur's guidance is leading so many every day in the running of Islamabad and its continued development. Workers and volunteers blessed to be serving in such proximity to the Khalifa of the time. But no matter where we are in the world, Islamabad will always pull at each of us as a home, where we yearn to go for comfort and peace, where the fulfillment of grand prophecies takes shape, and our beloved toils for our sake.
Now, alhamdulillah, it is open and everybody is very happy, and you can see the excitement. Even in the children, they are very happy. The queue here when Huzur arrives, and because when Huzur goes to the mosque and come back, return from for the namaz, after namaz, they all wave and cheer and say Assalamu alaikum to Huzur Aqdas, and it's a very lovely sight to see.
तो गुज़श्ता मुलाकात में हज़ूर ने बहुत ही प्यारा जुमला फरमाया थे, दिल बहुत खुश हुआ। तो हज़ूर फरमाने लगे कि मैंने एक महीने में सारा ऑस्ट्रेलिया फिर लिया, यानी कि 4 रीजन हमारे वहाँ पे हैं जो जमाती रात तकसीम है, और चारों रीजन के तमाम खुदाम की जितनी भी मजालिस हैं उनके खुदाम अहमदियत हज़ूर की वर्चुअल मीटिंग्स हो गई हैं, मुलाकातें हो गई हैं, सवाल जवाब हो गए हैं। तो फरमाने लगा कि एक महीने में मैंने सारा ऑस्ट्रेलिया फिर लिया। तो ये कितना बड़ा एहसान है। और वो जब दौरा भी करते थे तो एक महीने में ये सारे जमातें वहाँ नहीं जाया जाता। इतनी मजालिस हैं, जमातें हैं, महदूद आप बड़ी जमातों में जा सकते हैं, हर छोटी जमात में तो नहीं जाया जा सकता, दौरे के दौरान भी नहीं जाया जा सकता। लेकिन अब फरमाने लगे मैंने एक महीने में सारा ऑस्ट्रेलिया फिर लिया। तो वहाँ मजालत जो थी वहाँ पे मौजूद थी, लेकिन से बातें हो गई हैं, मुलाकातें हो गई हैं, मीटिंग्स हो गई हैं। तो ये इतना बड़ा इनाम है जो इस्लामी मरकज़ के साथ वाबस्ता है, तो अल्लाह ताला ने अता किया है। हुज़ूर का ये फरमाना आगाज़ में इफ्तिताह के मौका पर कि इंशाअल्लाह यहाँ से इस्लाम का काम बड़े वसी पैमाना पर होगा। दुआ करें कि अल्लाह ताला यहाँ से शात इस्लाम के हमें वसी मौक़े अता फरमाए, ताकि वो लफ्ज़ हरफ हरफ पूरा हो रहा है, और पहले से बढ़कर नई शान के साथ हर रोज़ नए रंग में यहाँ से वसी पैमाना पर सारी दुनिया में इस्लाम का पैगाम पहुँच रहा है, शात इस्लाम हो रही है। तो गैर मामूली काम इस नए मरकज़ के साथ अल्लाह ताला ने वसा कर दिया है, वो फतूहात के नए दरवाजे अल्लाह ताला ने खोल दिए हैं।
झूल जाना गो हजार बार देखूं तेरा फूल फूल चेहरा, तेरा फूल फूल चेहरा मैं सदा बहार देखूं, वो घड़ी तुझे कभी ना